Hello, good afternoon. I thought today I would do some vlogging because today I'm doing some quilting. I'm doing this little guy. I'm quilting my star sampler quilt, which I've been meaning to do for a very long time, but a lot of things have happened which has stopped me from doing it, and I'm gone out of focus, which is fantastic, and the lens is also dirty, so let's just fix that up. Lovely. I also have an audience member watching me today in the name of Charlie. He's just here at the window. Say hello, Charlie. Say hello, everyone. Yeah. Hello, darling. It's taken me a while to get into quilting this quilt because I haven't been very well over the last week or so. I've had a really horrible cold, sort of verging on the flu, but not quite. So I'm going to do some quilting, and while doing that I'm actually thinking of doing like a Q&A thing. Months ago I put out a call for questions for a Q&A video that I wanted to do, but obviously that hasn't happened because I just haven't had the time to sit down and make that video. So I thought while I'm quilting I will answer those questions. So who knows how long this video is going to go for. So I'm going to do a little bit of quilting this afternoon and answer your questions, and yeah, just start getting some stuff done because I've sort of dropped the ball a bit on doing videos lately, and I don't like that at all because my YouTube channel is important to me, you guys are important to me, and I feel really bad that I haven't been doing videos lately. It's mainly just a time thing because I've been working a lot. It's just time and just lots of things happening. So I want to get this quilt along finished hopefully by the end of next week, because I am then actually going on holiday the week after, and I just want it done because you guys have all been so patient with me, and this has been going for over a year, and I didn't think the quilt along will be going for a year. That wasn't my intention or my plan, but it's just the way that it is. Once I get this quilt along done, I have so many great crafty video ideas that I want to get started and into. I want to do some flower tutorials with you, just lots of really cool crafty sort of things. Yeah, just getting back to some of the old school projects that I have done in the past. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how we go, because yeah, the rest of the year is very busy for me, but we will make it happen. We will make it happen. I'm feeling positive today. Let's get into it. Not only am I filming this vlog thing, I'm also filming for the tutorial on my big girl camera. So I think I'm just going to do a few of those shots first, and then when once I get into like the nitty-gritty of the quilting, I'm gonna then start the Q&A, and also find my phone, wherever that is, because all the questions are on Instagram and also on my Facebook, and yeah. Side note, how awesome is this backing fabric for my quilt? I love it. I love the colour, and then it has like a navy blue sort of print through it. I just think it's absolutely divine, and it matches so well with this. This fabric isn't part of the range, the print shop range that I'm using. This is just a fabric I bought at Spotlight, and it was just perfect. It's perfect! Perfect! Okay. I think we're ready to go now. Just going to find questions on my Instagram. Oh goodness, where to start? By the way, just ignore all of like the mess here in the background. It's the reality of life, I suppose. My sewing room is so messy at the moment. There is literally stuff everywhere. I really need to buy some more drawers and things and get organized, which I think I will soon. I don't know. I've got two of the same types of questions, so a lot of the questions that you did ask were quite similar, so I'm just going to just sort of, you know, answer the ones that are similar in sort of like the same sort of answer. So I've got a couple asking, is it easy to make a living by quilting online? There's one here that says, I'd like to know if it's difficult to make and upload videos. Well, I'm going to say yes, because if you're very time poor, then it is very hard, but you do need to prioritize, and if you have a passion for what you're doing and you really want to be helping people, then you will make time to get things done. The other part of the question is, do you make any money from what I do? And also, can you do making YouTube and stuff from just your phone? So let's get quilting. Let me get my quilting on the way, and then I can answer that question. I'm hoping that my machine isn't going to be too loud while I'm quilting, or it's not going to be distracting. Apologies if it is, but I will try my best not to have that happen. What was the question again? Do I make any money from my YouTube? I do. I don't make a lot. Even when I was doing it full-time a couple of years ago, I wasn't earning a lot of money, hence why I had to go back to work. I earn monthly from YouTube, but it's definitely not enough to live off. It's definitely not a steady income. It's not a reliable income, because it changes from month to month depending on my views and how many videos I've made and all that sort of stuff. I think it is possible with technology these days to make videos with just your phone. I know that with iPhone you can get iMovie, and you can actually now edit the videos that you've shot on your phone with apps that you can put on your phone. I think uploading those videos onto YouTube, you're going to need good data, or be able to do it through Wi-Fi, because it takes forever to upload videos if you have a really bad internet connection, and it can take quite a long time. It can take, you know, a couple of hours to upload a video to YouTube, which is something you might not realize. A lot of the videos that I do are usually about 10 minutes or so, and for my connection, our internet's just changed, but previously it used to take 2-3 hours for a 10-minute video to upload. So you also need to factor in that time, that data costs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think it is possible to do YouTube from your phone. You can earn money from it through AdSense. If you put ads on your video, that's through Google AdSense, but just be aware that you're not going to be raking in millions on, you know, a couple of thousand views. It's just not possible. Well, not in my experience anyway. Moving on to another question. How did you first start sewing? Do you ever make clothes? And have you ever seen any really poisonous spiders? Because I live in Australia. Okay, let's do the spider thing first. Because I live in a suburban area, really built up, I don't see a lot of dangerous reptiles and spiders and insects that Australia is known for. Sometimes you do get the odd redback or funnel web spider, but is very rare. I think the more you go out of the suburban areas and the city areas, then of course, yeah, you're going to find a lot more of the insects and creepy crawlies. But if you're just going to be sticking around Sydney or any of the big major cities, you're not going to come across dangerous insects and reptiles and spiders that will eat you. This is not going to happen. If you go out into the outback and more rural areas, yeah, you're gonna see them everywhere. Going on to when and how did you first start sewing? I started sewing when I was in high school. I did textiles in high school. It was my best subject and I loved it. Nobody in my family quilts or sews or anything like that, so I don't know where my passion for patchwork and quilting came from. It was just something that I was always interested in. I'd always seen quilts, like, you know, the real traditional American type quilts, and thought, oh, they're so cool and I really love them. And so I just sort of shared that in my textiles class, and that's just where I sort of started learning and picking up techniques and a little bit of knowledge. It wasn't until I started working at Spotlight the year after I finished school that I very fortunately got placed in the fabrics department, and so I was able to really explore quilting and patchwork, and yeah, just sort of ignite this passion that I have for it. I do a little bit of dressmaking. For my 30th birthday, which is next month, holy crap, I'm going to be making a skirt. I have this really cool simple pattern that I picked up is the Simplicity pattern, a beautiful stretch sateen fabric in a print that I just absolutely love. And I'm going to make a skirt for my 30th birthday because I'm doing a high tea with my friends and my family. I'm actually going to film me making that whole process. I've never done dressmaking on my channel before. I've never addressed it or anything like that because I'm not very good at it. I think with this project it could either be a flop or a project or like a skirt that I will absolutely love forever, and yeah, it turned out really good. So my dressmaking skills are like borderline. It could work or it could just look just absolutely ridiculous. Have you thought about designing your own quilts? I do design my own quilts. The quilt along that we're doing, I designed myself. Obviously I got inspiration for the blocks from Pinterest, which is actually answering another question. A lot of the questions that you've asked, where do I get my inspiration from, and that is Pinterest. All of the quilt along series that I've done here on my channel I have designed myself. I've designed, I don't know whether you saw at the start of this vlog, there was a quilt in the background that was my Crown of Thorns quilt. I designed that myself. So yeah, I do design quilts. I just don't put them out on like a big huge scale or marketing scale or anything like that with you know, like all the other big sort of American quilters do. I think that's because they do it professionally. I'm not a professional quilter. I'm just a little Australian YouTuber that is just sharing, I don't know, her very small knowledge of quilting with the world. I don't think I really have the, I don't know, I'm not completely confident in being able to make a pattern commercially, that's a really hard word to say. Yeah, I don't know, it just hasn't really occurred to me. Anything that I do I'll just put on my blog, and you can either download it and do it if you want, or not. It's nothing sort of professional or anything like that. So okay, this is a good one. What are your 3 favorite sewing quilting notions? The first one is, oh yeah, I gotta get it. First one is this one. It's a Clover Hera marker, and I'm actually using it to score up the lines on my quilt. This is really great for just marking lines on a quilt or in dressmaking or anything like that that you can follow. It's a really great gadget, especially if you're doing straight line quilting. So I have lots of other favorite quilting notions, but the ones that I'm showing you are just the ones that I've been using recently. The other one is these really cool craft clips that I received from one of you guys. These are like those little binding clips that you put on around the edge of your binding. When I'm doing foundation paper piecing, I like to use the little perforated tracing wheel, which makes little holes in the paper. It's a really great notion to use as well if you are into foundation paper piecing. Next question, where does the name 3 3/4 come from? I think it's actually a bit of a boring story, that one. There was no real inspiration for it. It was just sort of like a measurement that came up at work once, and I was like, oh, 3 3/4. That sounds quite cool. I really wanted a name that just sort of flowed off the tongue, that sort of connected with a quilty type vibe, and 3 3/4 just fit. Do you belong to a quilt guild? Where does your inspiration come from, and what's your favorite color combo? Favorite color combo, I adore blue and green together because I was always told that blue and green should not be seen unless there's something in between, and I like breaking the colour rules, so I love that combination together, and I really like pinks and greys. It's really nice. I do not belong to a quilt guild, mainly because the guild that meets around my area meets on a Sunday. Sundays I'm either at church or I'm at work, so it just doesn't really fit, and plus I'm really shy. I know it sounds really stupid, but yeah, I'm just really shy when it comes to those sort of things. I'm not really into doing group things. I'm a very quiet, independent person that just doesn't like to do anything. I'm sure I will join one day, but you know, it just comes down to the whole time thing. There's just so much else happening that I don't really have time to join a guild. It'd be really great to meet up with like-minded people and stuff like that, but then I get that at work, and so like that bit's already fulfilled, and then I sew for people anyway. I mean, I almost feel that my YouTube channel is a quilting guild, because I get to chat and talk about things with you guys. You comment and we have a conversation about things. We're sharing this quilt along together. We share things on Instagram and on Facebook, so I already feel like I'm kind of in a group and really enjoying, you know, company of women and men all throughout the world. So yeah. Where does your inspiration come from? Pinterest and Instagram. Will you try to make quilting videos more often in the future, as you're so good at it? Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. I struggle all the time with guilt of not getting videos done as much as I have in the past, and it really is just down to time, because I now have a job. With that comes more responsibility. It comes with just, yeah, finding the time just to sit down and come back to doing videos, filming, you know, setting them up, filming them, editing them, and then you know, uploading them. I have so many great ideas all written down, waiting for me to get them done, because I've struggled to find time to get this finished. This quilt, I mean, it's why I haven't put anything else out recently. I know that there's a lot of people waiting for this series to finish, so they can finish their own quilts. So I just want to get this finished first, and then we're going to get back into a lot more videos. I have been trying a lot this year to do a couple more vlogs. I am really enjoying vlogging. I really love watching vlogs. So it's a type of content that I would like to make more. I don't want to be doing it every day because I value my privacy and the time to myself. But I do want to share more stuff, like of me to a certain degree, with everyone. I hope that you like this one, because it's a little bit of sewing and vlogging and Q&Aing at the same time. But yeah, no, there are more videos coming, so don't worry about that. Are there any sewing YouTubers you enjoy watching? Confession, I don't really watch a lot of sewing YouTubers. I do watch Missouri Quilting Company. I think that's what they're called. I sometimes watch Craftsy. There's the HGTV Handmade channel that I like to watch as well. I love watching Sorted Food. Those guys are really great, because I love watching like cooking videos and things. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of sewing YouTubers. I suppose I should, just to sort of support and represent the quilting sewing community on YouTube. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I think because I make that content, I don't necessarily watch the content, which is a bit odd, I know, but yeah, it is what it is. Did you ever take classes to learn crafts? No, I've never been to a quilting class or anything like that. I purely learnt through books. That was my first go-to, was books, quilting books. And then Craftsy was really good for learning basics. And then YouTube. What is on your bucket list as far as quilts go? Is there something you have always wanted to make? I really want to make one of those, is it Lone Star quilts, you know, the one with all the diamonds in the star. And I always want to make just a really beautiful, purely sort of applique type quilt, you know, the ones that are like really pretty and lovely. I want to make one of those. But again, I think time is like the theme of this video. What are your favorite quilting rulers and why? What quilt tool would you like to have that you don't own? My favorite quilting rulers are the So Easy quilting rulers. They're made in Australia. I know that they're available in the UK because I've seen them in, I think it's Hobbycraft or something. I just find that the markings on the So Easy rulers really easy to follow. They have everything that I need on there. There's a 1/4 inch line. It's in inches, which is really helpful, and it lines up perfectly with the lines on my cutting mat, which is always helpful when you're doing any sort of cutting or measuring. So I would definitely recommend So Easy quilting rulers. And quilting tool that I have that I don't own, I would love a new sewing machine. I want one of those really hefty brother quilting ones. Don't necessarily want a long arm quilting machine thing because I don't have room for it, but there's a really beautiful brother quilting sewing machine that I think would just be so much fun to use. So but it's like $2,500 and I don't have that kind of money. What do I see for my future in quilting? I don't know. I think always just growing in my skills, in my knowledge, in my confidence. Hi Charlie. Hello darling. If I ever had the opportunity to write a book, a quilting book, I would love to do that. If I ever had the opportunity to make my own fabric line, I think that is like the goal. If I was ever able to make my own fabric range with a big quilting house company name, then I think like that would be the best thing ever. But yeah, I think just keeping on making and growing in skills and confidence and just really enjoying what I'm doing. I think that's the most important thing for my quilting future. Next couple of questions are, what is your idea of a perfect day, and do you prefer tea or coffee? I'm a tea person. Tea is life. I don't like coffee. Coffee is raw. Tea. My idea of a perfect day, oh, there's so many perfect days. If it's a cold, rainy, horrible day, then it's at home, either in front of the sewing machine quilting or sewing or creating, or on the lounge watching a movie with chocolate and tea. Oh, I'm in heaven. A hot summer's day or like a really nice sunny day, just outside in the sun, playing, relaxing, yeah, just being out in the sun and catching the nice lovely vibes of the sun and the sunshine. Do you know how to do free motion quilting on a domestic sewing machine? If yes, are you going to do free motion quilting tutorials? I do know how to do free motion quilting. I actually first learnt all about free motion quilting when I was doing textiles at high school. It was a technique I did with my major project. So I do have a lot of hours in doing it, because what I did, it just took forever. When it comes to quilting and doing free motion quilting, I'm not all that confident with doing it. I have done it in the past and I just wasn't really happy with the result. I can do a tutorial on like the basics, so of like how to set up your machine to do it, and when you're doing it, how to sort of keep up at the right pace. So I can do a tutorial on it. It's just something that I'm not all that confident in doing, and it's a technique that I don't do a lot, so that's why I don't really do it or have ever done it. How did you learn to quilt, and does your mum make quilts? No, my mum doesn't quilt. Like I said before, nobody in my family quilts. A lot of my great aunts did like embroidery and crochet and knitting and stuff. They never taught me. Both of my grandmothers, they died before I was born, and I didn't see my great aunts all that often enough for them to show me how to do any sort of creative sewing or anything like that. So everything that I do or I've learned or anything like that, I've learned on my own. So I learned how to quilt like through books, online tutorials, and also just by doing it, by just sitting down at the sewing machine and just quilting and making mistakes and learning from them. If you're someone out there who is thinking of doing quilting, just give it a go. That's all I can say. Just give it a go and see what you think. And don't worry about making mistakes, because you're gonna make mistakes, it's just inevitable. Now, they were all the ones from Instagram. I'm just going over to Facebook because there was some more on there as well. What are some of your favourite books, blogs, podcasts, magazines, or other type things? Out of focus again. Favourite books. Some of my favourites are of course Kath Kidston craft books, because I love Kath Kidston. Another one is the 500 Quilt Blocks by someone or other, I can't remember, but that is like a tiny little book that's like a block bible. Like, it has all of these beautiful blocks in it, and also different ways that you can make variations of the same block. So So that's just by changing a few of the different elements in the block to make it something completely different. So that's a really great one. I will link all of these down in the description if you are interested in checking out those books. I'm sure there are other ones, but I can't quite see them at the moment because I'm sewing. Oh, the Practical Guide to Patchwork by Elizabeth Hartman is like the best to grab if you're first starting out in quilting, because it just tells you everything that you need to know about your tools, about the fabrics, about just everything that you need to know. And then it's got some really great patterns in it for you to make. Favorite podcasts? I don't really listen to podcasts. I haven't really gotten into that whole world of podcasts. I don't really buy magazines because they're a bit of a waste of money, because I don't know, I think I'm just not really into them. Yeah, other than that, I don't really, everything that I sort of find inspiration through is usually through the internet, YouTube and Instagram. Tell us about your sewing machine and what machine you would buy if money were an object. If money wasn't an object, I'd get that Big Brother machine that I was talking about earlier. But at the moment I have a Brother Novus 200. It is a quilter's edition. I won this machine as a first prize in a quilting competition that I entered maybe about 5 years ago. I can't quite remember. But before that I had another Brother quilting edition sewing machine, and yeah, I'm really happy with Brother machines. They're the ones that I've only ever used Brother. I do have a little Singer featherweight that I got when I was 16 for my 16th birthday, but it's a very small little machine and I didn't really ever do any quilting on that one. I haven't had any experience with using a Benina or a Janome or Husqvarna or any of those sort of machines for quilting, so I can't really give any advice on that. But I have found that Brothers just do everything that I need them to do for my level of quilting and for the needs and wants that I want to do in my sewing. But yeah, if I had the money to buy that Big Brother machine, then I definitely would, because it just looks like a beast. So this one is for a few of the new people that have come to my channel, if you don't know who I am and what I do and stuff like that. Okay, so there's just a few questions here about, you know, you wanting to know about me. Where do you live in Australia? I live in western suburbs of Sydney. I have a dog. His name is Charlie. He is 1 in September. We got him in March and he is just adorable. We adopted him from one of our local pet shelters. So yeah, he's a rescue dog. I work in retail. I work at Spotlight. Spotlight is a big craft sewing fabric store here in Australia. They're also in New Zealand, Singapore and Hong Kong. If you live in US, it's like a Joann's or something like that. I think it's Joann's. And then if you're in the UK, it's like Hobby Sew. Is it Hobby Sew or Hobby Craft? Hobby Craft, I think it's called. So I work at that kind of store. I worked there since I was 18. It was there for about 6 years, then I left for about 4 years and I did study and all that sort of stuff, and then I've just recently gone back. Been back for a little over a year and a half now, just because I needed money, and yeah, they asked me to come back because there was a job opening. So let's go into the next question. I haven't really done any. I've done like 3 lines of quilting. I'm now just sitting here talking to you. People would like to know about what it's like working in a fabric store. It can be very dangerous working in a fabric store because everything that's in there you want to buy. I have so many Spotlight bags in this room and so many little piles of fabric that I've bought that there's just no room for it. I try not to come home every time I go to work with fabric. I've always got my blinkers on. That's what I say to customers. I got my blinkers on, you know, like a racehorse, so you don't see anything. But yeah, it can sometimes be fun, especially seeing all the new little ranges come in and just seeing just such beautiful fabric. But then yeah, there's another side of it that's not always so fun. What are your experiences so far with floristry? What do you love about it and what are your goals? I love flowers. When I was in high school, the last year of high school, people were asking, what would you like to do when you leave school? And I said I wanted to be a florist. And I had a teacher say, you don't want to do that, it will ruin your hands, and it just really put me off. But it wasn't until a year and a bit ago that I was inspired by getting into floristry again, or exploring that path again. So I went and did a Cert 3 in floristry at TAFE, so that's at college, which qualifies me as a qualified florist. I am a qualified florist. I can do anything and everything that you want me to do in floristry. I know lots about flowers and all that sort of stuff. I would love to have floristry as my career. I am looking into jobs in the floristry industry. I have been looking into doing my own business, but it's just, yeah, it's just sort of working out all the kinks at the moment. I think I do really need a lot more experience in the industry. So at the moment I'm just doing little jobs for friends. So as I mentioned before, I'm doing a wedding in September for a good friend, so I'm just going to see how that goes. I did her bridal shower a couple of weeks ago and I really enjoyed that. I have recently been doing a 6-week course with the Sydney Flower School, just brushing up on some of my skills that I did at TAFE. If you are in the Sydney area and would like to, you know, just check out floristry and see what it's all about, then definitely get onto the Sydney Flower School and do a few of their weekend classes. They're really awesome ladies. They know what they're talking about. They're all qualified florists themselves. They've got years of experience, and it's just a really great thing to do on a Saturday. Just go, you know, with a couple of girlfriends and do a flower crown course, and yeah, just be pretty for the rest of the day. Floristry is something that I definitely want to keep in my sights and aim for, but then I'm struggling with it as well because I really love doing my YouTube and I really want to keep doing that as well. So it's just sort of, things are just all over the place, but yeah, floristry is still a huge thing in my life. Okay, next question. What do your parents think about your videos? And do your parents have any crafty hobbies? My parents are not crafty. My dad likes being in the garden. My mum's not creative at all. She's more like a book person, you know. My parents are very supportive in what I do. They were very supportive, especially during the time, the year that I took to try YouTube full time. I wasn't, I mean, I don't know whether you're aware, I still live at home, because if you live in Sydney you cannot afford to move out of home if you are not in a relationship, if you are not married, if you do not have kids. You know, I can't afford to move out of home. It's as simple as that. So I still live at home, so everything I do is in my parents' house. I have taken over my mum's study room with my sewing stuff. They were supportive in me not paying board. They helped me financially with lots of different things. So my parents are very supportive, and I'm so lucky to have parents that are like that. My mum especially understands the pressure I sort of think I feel sometimes, not getting content out on my YouTube channel, not sort of having the time to do things. But yeah, no, they're very supportive, and I seriously could not be lucky enough to have the type of parents that I have. Oh, I'm just so lucky. They are fantastic, amazing people, and yeah. How do you put time aside for sewing and crafting? I don't put time aside. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have put time aside today. Days when I don't work, it's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I try and get YouTube stuff done. I try and do a little bit of sewing, but I also treat those days as my weekend. So obviously on a weekend, you know, there's a day where you don't want to do anything. You just want to just sit and veg, you know, or catch up with friends, or, you know, do some shopping. It also depends on my mood. I think I find it really hard to sometimes to switch on the creativeness. I need to be in the mood to be creative. Sometimes it just comes to a point where I feel really restless and I need to be doing something with my hands, and that's what I'm sewing. That's what I'm creating, it's when I'm filming and stuff like that. I try and do a lot of sewing in front of the TV because I'm a huge movie buff. I love watching movies and films, and I like doing embroidery and different sort of hand sewing when I'm doing that. And then if I'm feeling happy enough after a day at work, I will sew in the evening, but it's not very often. There's another personal question here. Are you dating, and what socializing do you do? And do you want to visit the USA? Yeah, of course I want to visit the USA. I would love to go to New York. I really want to go to Disneyland and Disney World. I would love to go to California, Malibu. I want to go up to Chicago, Boston. I have family up in Canada that I would love to visit. Yeah, I would totally love to come to the US and visit and stuff like that. Am I dating? No, I'm single. By choice. I think I'm happy being on my own. I don't know, a lot of my friends ask when are you gonna date, blah, you know, why don't you have a boyfriend, blah blah blah. I love being on my own. I'm a very independent person, and I am a loner, and I am very introverted, and I genuinely love being on my own. I very rarely feel lonely when I'm on my own. Like at the moment I am on my own in the house and I'm loving it because you know. But I mean, if a guy were to ever come along and, you know, make life nice, then I won't say no to that. But yeah, it's just something that I don't feel is a priority at the moment. Maybe when I'm like, you know, reaching 40 and I'm like, oh, I want a baby, maybe, but no, not at the moment. No. What socializing do you do? I see my friends regularly-ish. I have a set group of friends that I hang out with. We catch up maybe once or twice a month. No, once or twice every couple of months or so. We all live very busy lives and we're all sort of kind of scattered across the greater Sydney area. So again, you know, it's the theme of the vlog of this time. It's just finding time to catch up, really. And I have friends at work that I see every day at work, which I enjoy spending time with. I love the people that I work with. And then I socialize a lot with my family. Yeah, I suppose also because I'm quite a quiet person. I like to be alone. It's just being honest. Just being honest. I think that's all of the questions I have to go through. There is one question that is not there, but people have been asking me quite a lot, is whether I have anywhere for you to send me stuff. So I am actually in the process of, when I get time to get to the post office, to set up a PO box. There are a lot of people that want to send me stuff, and that's really, really lovely of you to want to do that. No way do I want you to feel like you need to send me things to thank me or anything like that. Just a nice comment is always just nice. But for those of you who do have things that you want to send me, thank you very much for thinking of me and wanting to do that. I will be setting up a PO box very soon. I do actually need to go to the post office very, very soon to get a passport photo taken, because I'm going to New Zealand at the start of next year, and I need to update my passport. So when I am at the post office, I will file for a PO box, and that will be available for you to send me things if you want to, but don't ever feel pressured or feel that you need to. So when that is all finalized and stuff, I will get that address out to you. So yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to confirm. It's so weird just saying I'm setting up a PO box for you to send me stuff. You don't have to send me stuff, really. It's not necessary. So I think I'm gonna end it there. Throughout this whole Q&A thing, I've quilted 3 lines because I've just sat here and chatted, but it has got a Q&A and vlog done. So I might actually start editing. I'm still ill. So I started doing this quilt in the back here. I just haven't gone back to it yet. I don't know why I started doing it. Just did. I just wanted to do something. But this pinwheel is now too big for these quarter square triangles that I did for the star. I knew that I was going to stuff up the measurements on that one. So it's just sort of, it's just there. As I mentioned at the start, I really want to get this quilt finished by the end of next week, because next weekend I'm going on holiday for about a week. I'm going up to Queensland, which is another state up in Australia. I'm going on a cruise with my parents, and I actually do really want to vlog that. I don't know how confident I'm going to be in it, but we're going to give it a go, and yeah, just share some of my beautiful country with a lot of my viewers, because a lot of the people that watch my videos are from another country. So I want to show just a little bit of Queensland to you guys, and yeah, it's going to be a fun 4 or 5 days just cruising up the east coast of Australia. I can't wait for it because I really need a holiday. I'm still rambling and my machine is still on, and I still haven't done any more quilting. I think I might just leave it there because I'm rambling, and I've been doing this for a good hour and a bit, and I still have to edit this all down into a video that is manageable for my internet to upload quickly onto my YouTube channel. thank you very, very much for watching. If you are now up to this bit of me thanking you, I really do appreciate you watching and supporting, and I hope you enjoyed this Q&A and learning a little bit more about me, and just sticking with me as I ramble through it, and just, you know, you're a star. Everyone gets a gold star if you are up to this bit. Gold star, gold star. So whenever I see you next, I don't know whether it'll be next week with the end of the quilt along or a vlog or whatever, but I am always thinking of you and always planning. You're always on my mind. You're always on my mind. Oh, it's getting weird. I need to go. Bye.